Welcome to TC and the Wolf, a brand new podcast featuring the Reverend Tom Chandler, a talented but slightly disgruntled music producer, and Nick Wolf, a singer, songwriter, and technology wizard. Important note, everything we say here is a joke and only for entertainment purposes. Do not take this seriously. The opinions expressed do not represent the views of anyone else or any companies we may be affiliated with. Make sure to subscribe, like, follow, and share. And as always, drink responsibly and make sure to tip your waiters.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and our 7 excited listeners in the San Fernando Valley.
I thought we had 9.
All right, we have 9 now. Sorry. I was off by like a 2 count. This is TC and the Wolf, and today we have a great friend of mine, longtime friend, longtime collaborator, country artist, Mr. Marc Daniels. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. Super excited to be here.
Welcome. We got to get you a little closer, my friend.
You got to be right up on that bitch.
Sit up on this thing.
This is like,
the
just
mic.
like when we record.
Oh, all right.
All right, so Nick is over there on my right, and we're going to get into it today. We have so much. We haven't been here for a while. We have a lot to talk about.
Feels like forever, you know?
Yeah, I know. Since Jake Rowe was here and the power went out. Yeah.
Oh, man. That was a marathon session, though.
It was.
That was exciting.
We did 90 minutes, and we were late on putting a podcast up because we have to edit the holy shit out of that because it got a little inappropriate.
We got in the gutter.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. So,
I mean, we want this to be like revealing and transparent, but I think we took it to a new level, a level which the listeners are not ready for yet.
well, yeah, we'll have to dial it back down. All right, so let's get into Mark's story, Nick. Do you want to interview him, kind of get this going?
Well, I would love to, but before that, Tom, I just want to talk about. I want to talk about how you made my Saturday, Tom.
Oh, fuck, here we go.
And you have a video of this, too, that I know you're going to post because you post, like, everything these days.
Of course, yes.
You're a content creator. No longer a music producer, content creator. Right?
Content expert, bro. Have you seen my numbers?
Expert. But, dude, so literally, I rush over here. There's so much going on. We're putting a little slice of time for the podcast. You got to make time for the things that are important, right? And I walk in, and my mind was blown because Tom... He's a paragon of excellence. He had the table set up. He had the tablecloth set. The microphones were here. The fucking sound system was set up. The only thing missing was my phone, which we used to record the video. Tom, my hat's off to you.
Yes. Good job.
All right, I hate you for bringing this up on the air.
You're an excellent producer.
I'm not an excellent producer. I'm an
And-
elite producer.
Oh, elite podcasting.
Yeah, there we go.
On top of that, I literally was dreaming last night, like, oh man, I need my special Sprite, and I couldn't find any at the store where I live. It's like, I bet Tom has the Sprite that I need. And then I came in, lo and behold, he's got a whole fucking 12-pack of this fresh, crisp, fucking refreshing shit. I mean, I don't know how my life could get any better, frankly.
I don't know, cocaine and whiskey.
Hey man, it's only like 9 a.m, okay?
Oh, well, there's never a bad time for it.
Okay. Now, back to the subject of this podcast. Mr. Mark.
Yes, sir.
First things first, man. You are much taller than I fucking expected.
Yes, I get that a lot. Yeah, but at least you didn't ask me if I play basketball or not, which is always like.
Do you? I guess you don't.
Back in the day, you know, I my younger days for sure. But,
Yeah. Can I ask you, how tall are you?
I am 6'6".
Wow,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's crazy as fuck, too? Like, Michael Jordan and LeBron James are both 6'8".
Right.
And when I walked in and I saw you, I'm like, this guy's tall as hell. I'm like, I can't imagine those guys being even taller than that.
It's one thing that when you are tall, if you run into someone taller than you, you're like, is this how other people feel when they stand behind?
But it's more rare for you.
Yeah, it's you'll be in an elevator. I've been in an elevator with like guys that are like 6'10" or like NBA players, and I'm like, whoa. I'm like, Jesus, man, like that guy is tall. And then you're like, you get that feeling of like, oh, this is what it's like to feel stand next to me, like when you're like under 6 feet. So
well, and there's
you take it for granted, you know.
So growing up, right across the street from my parents' house back in Ohio, there was a family, and like half the family was like over 6'6", and the other half was like 6 foot-ish, right?
Gosh.
So like the dad was like 6 foot, the mom was like 6'9", bro. Seriously, tall, white, skinny, like Skeletor looking people, dude. And the mom was like hardcore. By the way, shout out to Colleen. Love you. If anyone ever asks, I always loved you. And I'm just talking about this because it's interesting. But anyway, she was 6'9". The grandpa was literally 6'11".
Jeez, man.
The mom and the dad had
6'11" is a height someone has.
I know, isn't that fucking crazy?
Yeah.
This is
to
literally
make it to being a grandpa at 6'11" is impressive.
Yeah, the fact that your heart held up all that
or your
time.
knees,
dude.
or whatever.
That guy just died like a couple years ago. He was like 100 years old, dude.
No way.
This is like a special
Maybe
specimen.
he was Skeletor.
But then, so the mom is 6'9", the dad is 6 foot. They had 2 kids. The first kid turned out to be 6'11" also, but very uncoordinated. Like
Knees and
everyone would
elbows,
say,
just-
do you play basketball? And he's
Yeah.
like, I really kind of can't, dude.
Yeah.
And then the younger brother was only about like 6 foot, like my height. And it was fucking crazy, bro, because it was like 2 halves of the same family, like I said. But then the tall brother, like they had to buy custom beds, custom
yeah.
everything. And like, his legs were so long, he would lose all feeling in his lower extremities because he couldn't pump the blood that far, dude.
That's a common problem as you get older, like things they have to, worry about. But it's funny because I'm actually an anomaly in my family. Like,
Oh, really?
My mom's a short little Italian lady, and my dad, he's average height, like maybe like 5'11", but my brothers, like they're average height, and then I just out of nowhere, like super tall. My sister, she's like 5'6". So it's a weird thing. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe
Tom is donating his
milkman.
body to science, to UCLA, and I think you might want to consider getting on that
Yes,
train.
exactly.
And let's find out how your genes mutated for
Okay.
you to be the
Yeah,
only
yeah.
super tall dude in your family.
Hose water.
Hose water. All right, so where did you grow up, man?
So I grew up in Spokane Valley, Washington. So I am a Spokaneite, as we call them.
Oh, shit, never heard that before.
Yeah, it's one
I
of those.
thought it was called Spokanean.
No, there's like people say there's like Spokompton, Spokeghetto, Spoklahoma.
Spokompton.
Spokanistan. I like that one a little bit. So, but yeah, I grew up in the Spokane Valley. So, which is really
Not to be confused with Silicon Valley.
No, the thing is, Spokane is it's kind of like a purple city now. But when I was growing up, it was very kind of rural, and like people had farms, and I grew up on the like outside of town. The valley is kind of like on the edge of town, so it has kind of a Midwest feel to it, but it has everything you need. So,
Okay. And we're talking about like the Northwest.
yeah, Pacific Northwest, like right on the border of northern Idaho. So it's like Spokane is like 20 miles from Idaho.
Really?
Yeah,
Damn.
You could drive 1 hour east from Spokane and be in 3 states. You'd be in Washington, Idaho, and then you're in Montana. Just going 1 hour east. That little
Man.
skinny neck part of Idaho.
I've never really been up there.
Yeah,
that,
me
that
either.
part
I
of the
wanna
world,
visit.
so.
It's beautiful.
Dude, I wrote a book report on Montana like in 2nd grade about the majesty of the mountains and all the like rural shit and the parks. I've been wanting to go there my whole life, and you're
should.
just inspiring me.
You
again.
should. It's
Yeah.
true. We got a house up there in Coeur d'Alene. Like, we go up there in the
In
summers.
Montana?
In Idaho, northern
Oh,
Idaho.
okay,
So
okay.
like really close to where I
Dude,
live.
we should do a songwriting retreat up there, bro.
You should.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Being out in the wilderness, get some fucking booze, get
Yeah.
some acoustic guitars.
Can't we
and
just do that in Big Bear, and it'd be a lot more convenient, though? I mean, do I, really
guess
have to go to fucking
that's a-
northern Idaho?
That's a
for-
really solid
but
point,
you might
Tom. That's a
actually
really solid point.
You might actually see wildlife up north. I don't know if you'll see much down
Yeah, I want
here.
to see some like caribou and shit, you know?
Like a moose. There was
Yeah,
a
moose.
moose in my father-in-law's backyard in Idaho just
Well,
this
check
morning.
this out. In my neighborhood here, right, we have coyotes, we have deer. I got swiped at by a bobcat. I almost got attacked by a mountain lion.
We
on
saw
my
a
walk.
coyote last night. I
Yeah.
pointed him out to you. Yeah.
No, that was in Hollywood, though.
Yeah.
But here, like, Kelly up the street, my friend who owns a studio up the street, there was a bear in her pool one day. I mean,
That's
like,
awesome, dude.
one day I almost got mauled. This is an interesting story. So I'm walking in the morning up in the hills, and I'm walking just past a bunch of foliage on my right, and I see a car with a guy and his son sitting in like a Jetta, like over on the left side, and they're looking at me like this, dude. They're like, bro, and they're pointing. And I'm like, what? And I'm thinking that they just think I look weird for the neighborhood because I get pulled over on foot a lot because I'm the shittiest looking person in my neighborhood.
Well, you know what
So,
I was thinking, dude?
what?
Like just how you're saying, oh, I see a bobcat, I see a coyote. Like what if the animals are talking amongst themselves
To
and they're
fuck
like,
with me?
there's this white guy with
watch
gym
out.
shorts always walking around here, and once in 5 days he sharts himself, and you can hear it all across the woods. Like
Anyway-
what if you're an animal to
Anyway, I
them?
walk up to this car, and this dad and this son are just shaking their heads and they look bewildered. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys looking at? And they're like, did you just see what you walked by that you were like 4.5 feet from? And I'm like, no. And they go, turn around. I turn around. and there's a bear, a big ass like California black bear, like in the middle of the road tearing up a fucking garbage can. And I was listening to Joe Rogan. I was just walking around. I had no fucking idea. I just saw these two people freaking out. And apparently I was literally just like 4 feet from the bear, and I walked just straight past him. And apparently he wanted nothing to do with me, and I wanted nothing to do with him.
Face deep in garbage, man.
Yeah. Well, they do that here. They get in the cans. They have bear protection cans and shit too. It's nuts. Anyway.
Okay, let's get back to Marc. Yeah. So, Marc Daniels Country. So, give me the broad strokes of your upbringing and what led to you becoming a musician.
Yeah. So, ironically, my family's pretty musical. And when you grow up in a musical family where everyone can sing, sometimes you don't think that you have any talent because you're like, oh, this is just the way everyone is. So, like, my mom was a good singer. My grandmother used to sing on the radio back in, the World War II days. She was an Italian singer, so she'd sing in Italian. It's called the Italian
Molto
Hour.
Bene.
Yeah, so it's like music has kind of always been in our family. And
who's the best?
My sister.
She's
sister.
She's got a great voice, dude.
She. What's her name?
Her name's Christina.
Christina.
Yeah, she's a nurse, and she's so talented, and she's one of those people who's like talented, but like just do something with it. And she's like, oh, I just want to do karaoke, and she just has fun. But anyway, so growing up, I took piano lessons when I was a kid, and we all just were kind of involved in music. But I didn't really do anything with it until I was in my 20s, because when everyone can sing, you just don't think, you're like, oh, that's for other people. Like I'm not cool enough to be in a band.
Like the bar was naturally high in your family, and you didn't see yourself as a standout. Yeah.
Well, and also you don't have the support. Like, it's not like your parents are going, oh my God, you should sing. Like, or you don't have other people like telling you, because everyone's just like, all right, everyone's just kind of good.
You think that happens like in other families? Like, let's say you're a family from like a country where the people are notoriously good at math, and everyone in the family is really good at math. So like, even if you're doing like fucking, your master's thesis, like in your sleep, on some quantum mechanics shit, like they're just like, that's just what we do, man. Yeah. It's not a big deal.
It's just everything's like mid.
Mid, exactly.
Yeah. That's how I feel around a lot of LA musicians. Is like I feel like the least talented person that I work with sometimes, believe it or not. Because, I can't really sing. I can't really. I can write some shit. I can have good comment and production with it. But I really don't do,
You have a special talent, Tom. You have a special talent.
Drinking, we know.
So yeah, I think when I turned 21 though, and like the bar scene opens up, I had a job, and I got the group of people I worked with. I worked at a grocery store, and everyone was always older, so they would go to do karaoke multiple nights a week. And I remember the first time I went, this kind of actually ties this all together. And people were going up and singing, and they were god awful. And everyone's like, "Whoa!" clapping. I'm like that? You thought that was good? And they're like, "Well, what? You think you can do better?" I'm like, "Yeah, I could do better." And so,
it's also cool, right? If they don't know you can do that, like you're kind of like sharking them in, like you're like, "Watch this," and then you rip it.
I sharked myself because like I'm like, well, I could do better than that. And then I get up doing like I'm just going to prove a point. And then I remember the first time I sang a couple songs, and I got off, and people were like, oh my God, like you can really sing. I'm like, I go, that was good. And they're like, yeah, that's really good. And I got like,
what song did you do? Do you remember?
I think I did Push by Stone Temple Pilots.
Plush.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Push is by Matchbox 20.
Yeah. Plush by Stone Temple Pilots. And
good song.
And then I remember I got addicted to that, like, the compliments, and I was like, oh, this is fun. And then I started going like,
so it was all about your ego,
exactly. Marc. Well, and also like I realized I like enjoyed singing and like performing. Like I got really addicted to performing, and I got good at it. And then I started going like 5 nights a week. And then eventually I was out one night and a band saw me, and they were like, hey, like we're looking for a new singer. And would you come and audition? And I was like, okay. And again, this is like I didn't think I was cool enough.
And you
to
never
be in a
done
band.
anything other than karaoke at that time?
Well, I grew up playing. I played piano, so I was like.
But I mean, like in terms of like seriously doing like a project or something.
No. I again, it's like that was not. I didn't like. I want to be in a rock band growing up. Kind of like something I fell into. But then so I auditioned for this band, and I did like 3 songs. They're like, dude, you got the gig. And I was like, okay. And then I was in that band for like 5 years. And
Jesus
we
Christ.
played like every weekend.
Doing covers and stuff?
It started out as covers, and then, and we were really popular because we were all really good at what we did. And we were young. And like a lot of cover bands, like, there's like a lot of old seasoned guys that have been playing forever, but we were like young and good, so we were extremely marketable. Like all the bars wanted us because we'd bring in the younger crowd, and we had a booking agent, and like every weekend we were just
I had a similar experience when I was younger in the 90s in a cover band, because we were all not 50 years old,
right?
And we would play the hits of, the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s kind of thing. There was a bit, and our lead singer was
You were playing guitar?
I was playing guitar and singing, yeah. And everybody in the band sang, which was cool. The oldest guy, I think, was like 30-something in the band, but like our singer was 21. She's a beautiful chick that could sing anything. And she was like Julesy is to me now. She was like my little sister for a long time. But we had a fantastic thing going to where we had agencies hitting us up. We had talent coordinators, and every time there was a TV show, a news station that needed content, and they'd always hit us up.
Was this back in the Ghost House?
No,
era?
This is after the Ghost House era. This is when I lived in Salt Lake City. This is probably like 97 to 2001. We did that, and the whole band lived in a house together. Did you guys ever do that?
Yeah, we did. We pay. We were talking about this last night, that we would play for rent. We're like, okay, this weekend or this gig is like we're paying rent.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you guys, because I mean, I've done like some covers with the bands I'm in. I've done like a couple like Misfits tribute gigs, which is just fun. I've never done the full-on 60, 70 daisies cover thing, which I think we could do almost a whole podcast on the cover band thing, Tom. But my question to you guys is like, what's like the average take for one of these bands?
Oh gosh,
like a couple grand a night or something?
Well, it depends on where you're playing. Like smaller markets,
it's a lot less now.
Yeah,
though.
It is a lot less. Yeah. We made more money back then. Like when I was doing this, is like early 2000s. Like we were making $1,500 a weekend, but we'd play like 2 nights. This is Spokane though, right? It's a small market. But like private events, weddings, and like we get ridiculous. $5,000. Oh God, it was crazy. Like I remember times where we get like $3,000 to sit on a lawn for like 4 hours while everyone's toasting, and then they're like, okay, band's got 30 minutes to play. Okay, we just play the 7 best songs or favorite songs we had, and we get paid $3,000, and then we get a huge tip, and the father bride's like, you guys want to take some wine home with you? Like, okay. Those are the best gigs.
We used to
what more could you ask for?
We used to get booked in these situations. So in the 90s, there is a very specific circuit that was called the GMA, the Good Music Association, right? We were part of that. And what they would do is you would show up on Thursday night, which is usually ladies' night at the college. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And we'd play an early teaser set for the weekend. So they'd put us up in a hotel or in like an RV or something like that.
What kind of hotel?
You in the fucking hotels, Nicholas. It's not important. I don't know. A goddamn Hilton Garden Inn. I don't know what the
Waldorf.
What the fuck are you talking
Motel
about?
6.
Anyway,
Four Seasons.
So we ended up getting. So we would do an hour set on Thursday. Then we would do 3 or 4 hours on Saturday and Sunday. But the band would make like $25,000 to $3,000. So we were doing pretty well, and that was like. And I had another job full time too that I worked during the week. That was
at the Dairy Queen.
No, when I worked tech support for Musician's Friend. Yeah, back then.
But to that point, it's brutal. It's like working 2 jobs when you're going that hard, because you have your day job, and then you're like playing music all night. And then there were times where we'd pack up gear at 2 a.m, and then I had to open the grocery store at 6 a.m. And I'm just like, oh God. And then I wouldn't even sleep. I'm like, well, I could go to sleep for 2 hours, or I'd go to the gym and work out, and then just like power through. But you're in your early 20s. You can you're like a robot.
I mean, that's great shit though, right? Like when you can like overload your system mentally and physically, and yet still get it done and then recover. Like your recovery ability at 20 years old is so powerful, right?
Yeah.
Like you could really like just over throttle your CPU, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. You'll bounce back, you know?
Exactly. I used to black out at work. Like I'd start at 6 a.m.
Me too.
I'd get there and like I'm fully
Different
up and moving
blackout.
around, and I would be like in front of like the grapes or something, and then there'd be like a flash, and 4 hours have gone by, and I'm in the back room, and I'm like, how did I get here trimming celery? And it's like you're so tired that your brain just goes into autopilot.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Okay, so you're in the cover band. That's going extremely well.
Then
What's next?
We decided we were going to try to do original music, and that is a whole different ball game, as everyone knows. It's much harder when you're playing covers. It's like everyone's into it, everyone's having fun.
Like you're playing Bon Jovi, "Living on a Prayer." You're going to get some fucking love.
Yeah, or "Sweet Home Alabama." Like, but then you start mixing. We started mixing originals in, and then it's like people are confused. Like, what's this? And and
like, cut the shit, Mark.
Yeah.
Put on the Bon Jovi.
Well, and also too, when you're coming from covers, into original music, like when you first start it, you have no identity, you have no idea what you're doing. So you're just like, oh, I'll just take the best of all the songs we play. And like we have like this 80s, 70s, 90s, 20s song that just is kind of a mess of everything. And I remember our first album, it was exactly that. Like every song was so different, and it was just kind of, and then of course your expectation is like, we're gonna do original music and we're gonna go to the top, and then you release it and it's like,
well, and there's this dichotomy, and you said it indirectly. You probably get so much love when you're this killer cover band. Everybody wants you, and like you're getting the crowd moving. The energy exchange is really huge. So you have like some ego and some highfalutin vibes about like who we are, what we can do,
and overconfidence.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
And then you put out this other thing, and it's probably a lukewarm reception at best, right?
Yeah.
And it's like that's got to be so deflating. I mean, in my case, I've only really done mostly original stuff, so I was just building that up, trying to do better and better at that. So I never had that like super high and fall off kind of thing like you're talking about.
Yeah, it's hard when like you're in, like we do like city events where there'd be like thousands of people and they're like jumping on their feet to Inside Out, the song. And then, you're like, this is what it's like to be a rock star. And then you switch to your own stuff and it's just like, everyone's just kind of like on their phones. You're like, oh God, like it's like a high and then like a come down.
I feel like that would drive me to drink and do drugs, frankly.
Well, all right. So this is funny. So when I was doing the cover band thing back in the day, our agent was like this. The first set at 9:00, do whatever the fuck you want.
Yep.
He goes, you can go up there and like make, shadow puppets on the wall and play acoustic guitar. I don't give a fuck what you do. So they would let us do that. And eventually it got to the point where some of our songs were popular enough that they got into later in the set. And we would close with some of our stuff that was a little heavier, things like that. And people really enjoyed it. So you can make the transition. It's just more difficult. But the drinking thing, which you were talking about, driving you to drink, we would often have contests to see how drunk we could get and still play the stupid shit in our set. Because like set 3 was like brick house. I would walk 500 miles. Like, and I was playing the shit. Like we'd start off a set, do 4 shots, and then people would drop beers off on stage and drop shots off on stage. So I'd be 10 drinks in the third set and just keep it going the whole time. And you'd be surprised, like your drunk memory. Like I have this happen now all the time where I haven't played a song in 30 years. I'm half blacked out. I'm at Maui Sugar Mill or something with Omar. And somebody would be like, does anyone know how to play this? And I'll be like, yup. and I haven't thought about it in 30 years. I just get up and
in a memory bank.
And the drunk recall, it brings it back up. I could still play Sweet Home Alabama probably tonight if I got drunk enough.
I actually have a tip for anyone who wants to work in original songs into a cover set. To your point, it's best to do it between like 10 and 11 when people are a little saucy and like if you're on a roll and everyone's dancing and you slide it in between like 2 really good dance songs, people will be out there and like they're so drunk and like, hey, this is kind of cool. Like it's a good time to experiment with stuff because
I think it also depends on what the material is, right?
Yeah.
Because if you have a song that's kind of like 2 other songs and you can stuff it in the middle and maybe they're not going to recognize it because they don't know it, but if the vibe is similar, you can more likely pass it off, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So we did that for a while and then that band ended up breaking up, and at that point I was kind of like, okay, I'm over the cover thing. I should really start. I got very interested in writing and like making music, so I jumped around a whole bunch of different bands, like all kinds of stuff. I was in a pop punk band for a while. I went like solo as a rock artist. And then I think I realized, then I took a break. Like I was like getting burned out because it's hard to do that. I was up in the Seattle area. I was playing.
How long were you doing that?
After I left Spokane. So I left Spokane, I went to Seattle, and then I was in like bands up there. And it's a totally different scene. It's like a pop punk and like, alternative rock scene. I did that for probably 3 years up there. But you go hard for 2 years sometimes with a band, and then you get burned out, and then you're like, I got to take a break. And that was kind of my cycle. It was like I'd go hard for 2 years, and then I'd quit a band, and then I'd take a year off, and then I get the itch again. It's always like you can never stay away for too long.
I know what you mean.
And you're like, I got to get something going again. And so I just kept doing that for a while, and but I never felt like I had my identity. And then I foolishly got married and was like, oh, I guess like I hit 30 and I'm like, oh, it's time to like settle down. And music kind of became more of like a hobby. And then I foolishly got married to a terrible person. We can get into that if we want to. But,
please. This is my favorite. This is my favorite part of the story.
So sorry to your wife.
No,
ex-wife.
Ex-wife. Like, I'm happily married now, the wonderful person. But I married the wrong person, and she almost destroyed my life. But
whoa!
yeah.
I want to talk about that.
Okay, we can go on that. So, but I'll give you the transition. I'll tell you how this. So out of that, the end of that relationship, I kind of was like, all right. I was like, I'm going back into music, and I always felt like my roots were country, like where I grew up, where I lived, the things I believe, the things that, bring me joy and happiness. Like I was like, this is who I am. And you get a little older too. And I think country is kind of like, allows me to tell a story. Like I've experienced life. It's not like when you're 20s, you're like, high school sucks. And you're saying emo, like, it's like, okay, no one can relate to that anymore. Like I'm an adult now. I want to talk about adult things. So,
very mature of you.
Yeah. But, do you want to talk? Okay. You want to know about what the relationship. So.
Yeah.
So, how do we want to start this?
Just start with how you met her, what the type of person was, the whole nine
Yeah,
yards,
like I foolishly, like when I turned 31, I'm like, oh, it's time to get married because that's what you do. And so part of it was like timing, meeting, where I was in life, and then meeting somebody who I thought was like on paper everything looked good, and so I fast tracked it. I didn't do my research. Dated this girl for like 6 months. We got engaged. It was like 6
months. Holy shit.
Stupid.
That's fucking fast.
Dude, but
That's
have you
crazy.
ever been in a relationship with someone where things are so intense, you're just like,
oh, yeah.
You're like, oh, like, this must be what it feels like. And then, I got engaged, got married. It was horrible mistake. Well, she got pregnant. So then I was like, uh-oh.
Before the engagement?
Well, we were engaged, and then she got pregnant, and I was like, but it was about the time when I was about to pull out. I was like, I don't think this is going to work out.
Wait. Pull out of the relationship
Yes.
or pull out
No,
sexually?
Pull out of the relationship,
Pull out of the
like hit
relationship.
eject. So something wasn't right, and I couldn't tell what it was, but my instincts were like, something's not right with this relationship. And then she's like, I'm pregnant, and I'm like, oh shoot, what do I do? So I was like, I'll do the right thing. We got married, and then the relationship was awful. And then I remember, I'll never forget this moment. I was told Tom this story where like we had a daughter. She was like a year old. And I remember sitting on my patio drinking whiskey and going like,
Hey man, this sounds like a country song.
this is where it all comes together. Yeah. I was like, this can't be my fucking life. I was like, I'm miserable. As I felt like something in the cosmos was off. And I was like, I go, why are you with this person? And I said, well, like, we have a daughter together. And my brain was like, well, what if she wasn't your daughter? And I said, well, then I wouldn't be with her. And then my brain's like, well, why don't you go get a paternity test?
Oh.
And I was like, okay. So like that was literally my logic train of thought. And then I just shits and giggles. I went to Walgreens and I bought an over-the-counter paternity test.
Oh, they have that shit over the counter?
Yeah, $19. Highly recommended for anyone who's you're about to find out. So needless to say, I took the paternity test. I went home and swabbed my daughter's mouth and mine, and I sent it off. And I was thinking nothing of it. I'm like, well, this is whatever. And then I got, they call you to give you the results. And I was at work.
They called you?
Well, they call you to like, tell you, because you sent it off to a lab and like, and I got called from this guy and he's like, oh, hey, got your results. And I was like, okay. And he's like, just so you know, that's not your daughter. And I was like,
Holy shit.
But at that moment, I was like, I
were
knew
released.
it. I knew it. I knew something was up. So I was like, I felt like validated. I was like, holy crap. Like, they say trust your gut? Dude, always got to trust your gut. So that, and you can imagine my whole world just collapsed.
And then how do you approach the other person about this bullshit?
Yeah.
That's what because that's some major fucking colossal dishonesty there.
It is, and you start your mode switches. You like immediately see that person as like your enemy. You're like, okay, so I went into like, all right, I got to get out, and didn't tell her. Went to a lawyer, got all my ducks in a row, and then I got like I had to get like a legal paternity test because over the counter ones don't work in court if you want to challenge paternity. So I had to go get like a nurse one and like get thumbprint and pictures taken. So I got all that, and then I prepared I was like, I'm divorcing this woman. I'm filing for paternity fraud. Like, I'm getting abused anyway. This is just awful. And then I confronted her, and I was like, oh, hey, just so you know, like, I know what's going on. And then the story she gave me, which was just, then of course, it was like typical narcissist tried to like say like, oh, I went to a cryo facility and I got artificially inseminated and all this lying shit, which was like tried to sell me on this story that like she didn't like have an affair or anything like that.
But see, even that is fucking ridiculous, and it's still betrayal anyways, because it was portrayed as one thing and it was not. Like, and I don't think that's I think that's a very uncommon possible scenario, right? Like a woman goes to the bank, gets the stuff, does the whole thing, and then just says, "Hey, Mark, I'm pregnant." That makes no sense.
It doesn't, and it's like, but that's like when you're with a sociopath, like, and she was legitimately one of those. Like,
wow,
the things they try to like. And she was very cute and pretty, and she was used to getting her way in her whole life. So they just think that like, oh, I'll just lie, and I'll just keep lying, and I'll just like push the lie, and everyone will just believe me. But at that point, it's like you're like, I have the evidence, I have everything.
Well, plus
here.
you had 2 tests.
I had 2 tests, yeah. So long story short, she denied everything. She tried to make a fake story, like, I got divorced, and at that point, I was like. You're like, you don't think people like that exist or that can happen to you. So I just basically was like, you know what? F it. I'm going to go do what it made me resurrect music. I'm like, I'm going to.
I love that.
Yeah. I'm like.
Phoenix rising from the ashes.
Well, and Tom and I had met before this, and Tom knew me when I was going through all this. And I think he said at one point, he's like, you should come and do a country record with me. I think that'd be great. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm married, I got kids and this and that. But as soon as that happened, I called Tom, I'm like, Tom. It's time. We're doing this.
But you were doing country prior to this? No?
Not really, but my writing.
I would say you were dabbling in it.
It's like my writing style was like that. Like, I was more of a storyteller. I was more of a, I played piano. So like I kind of, I was dabbling in acoustic guitar a little bit more. And, I was looking for an identity, but like, I felt like the pull of the force, like I could feel it. Like, I feel like this is what I should be doing. And Tom was not the first person to tell me that, because people who'd see me perform would be like, you know what, you should really be doing, you'd be very good at country. And then I started realizing, and like, well, that's actually who I am. So why not?
Well, what I really like about this story, and I mean, I had not met you or heard any of your story prior to now. I'm reacting to this firsthand, like right now in the moment. But there's a lot of you following your gut, following your intuition, seeing where the road takes you, kind of just like, going with the flow, so to speak. Like this particular impulse or impetus comes in, and it's a signal to you, and you're being open to the signals, you're reacting to the signals, and you're not trying to like control it per se, but you're like, I feel this draw to do X, like try this paternity thing or try the country thing. And I think that's a big lesson in general, and I think everyone could learn from that. Like, signs are there kind of for a reason. You know? I mean, I don't know if I want to go so far as to say everything happens for a reason, but to some extent, that's kind of true.
It does, and it's to your point. Like that's what makes music like yours. Like if you try to do something you're not. If you try to write music you think people want to hear, and I've made this mistake even once I created Marc Daniels and became this person. Like think, oh, this is what people want to hear, instead of just being like, I just want to write what's real for me and what's true for me. And that's when we do the best stuff. When you try to force something that doesn't feel organic or natural, it doesn't, you miss the mark. It hits in the gut.
Yeah, it doesn't translate.
This is very interesting. Man, so roughly how long ago was it when this paternity thing went down, and then then Tom and you said, let's make some country songs?
So this was like 2016, and then but the pivot was fast. I remember just being like, fortunately for me, I'd done all the work. I was able to cleanly break from that because of all the legal stuff, and like didn't have a leg to stand on. And then it was just, but also too, like when you're miserable and you're in a situation like that, it was relief. It was like a sense of like, oh, I was like,
because weren't you like sleeping at work and shit, dude?
Like, oh my God.
And I was afraid to go home. Like I just didn't know who I was going to come home to every day. So imagine like,
well, if someone's capable of what she did, what else are they capable of? That's the other thing too, like.
And Tom's speaking from experience.
I'm speaking from experience. That you never know what might turn up in your coffee the next day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you never know.
Well, and I think
could happen.
If you're a good person, like. Bad people prey on good people. They have to, because two bad people together that'd be like a nuclear bomb. So, it's kind of like a death of your innocence where you think like, I didn't think people like that. Who could do that? Because you would never do that to somebody. You think that in your mind. So why would anyone do it to me?
So check this out. I've gone to therapy this year for the first time. Right.
Kudos.
And I've been learning about what these people that I've been involved with before, they literally look for someone who is stable, isn't going to lose their mind, who has a good family, who has like a strong friend group. They look for people like that to manipulate. Because
they're preying on you.
And they think that you won't leave no matter what.
Yeah, because you're a committed person.
Because you're a committed person and you're a good person.
Well, and also, dude, with one of your recent stories, right? Like you had a few incidents where you said, okay, I'm piecing out from this because this is not working for me. And they gave you a couple months to kind of like recover, and they came back and latched onto you again because they're assuming they could keep doing that and you're not going to like fully walk away. It's like a succubus, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and it's not all people. I know this now, like, but my therapist has said this to me recently. He goes, Tom, for you, you're the kind of guy, if 2 is good, 12 is better. And he said, and that works for your friends, that works for your drinking, that works for the music, that works for the amount of records you make, whatever. He goes, but if you feel that draw like you do to music, alcohol, or cocaine for a person, he's like, that's a danger sign
Addiction.
for you. He goes, it's kicking up your addictive tendencies. And he goes, and that works for everything else in your life. But you need to find people that feel like safe and like home and like calm. And the energy is that. And now I'm like really aware of it, where I wasn't for a long time. It's like, oh, this is the hottest, greatest person I've ever been with. Let's have a good time. You know, let's hit some hotels.
Well, and also you have to use different criteria and different, selection inputs when choosing whatever, choosing a microphone, choosing a producer, choosing a mate. You can't just index heavily on this person's hot because there's so much more to it and takes you down a bad road sometimes.
Oh.
Yeah, it's you calibrate. So like after a situation like that, you're like, okay, well, you become a little hardened. You get a little bit more like observant of people you date. Like you see red flags. Well, you just also too, it's like then you start dating normal people again, and then you think back, you're like, I missed all these red flags. Of course, they were right in front of my face. And then you feel like a fool.
Well,
and
even
like,
when you said earlier that you were dating for 6 months and you got engaged, like the thing that was in my mind was like, there's science to this too.
Yeah.
When you're with a person for the first time and you're really attracted to them, so you've got hormones, you've got everyone wants to find a partner, generally speaking. There's all these factors clouding your vision, clouding your mind, clouding your judgment. And then, in that early phase, you're like infatuated, because it's so new and fresh and exciting. And this is not the time to be making these decisions.
No, you start moving past problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're ignoring red flags, basically, right?
Basically, you're just going, well, that was just yesterday.
And
She's
then,
not like that every day.
Exactly.
One of the other super common things, and I think I've suffered from this in my life, is like there's the whole, makeup sex thing, Like you can basically put a big sexual Band-Aid on that problem and it goes away for a couple days. You know what I mean?
Well, and also, too, people, like when you meet people that are bad or have split personalities, whatever, it's like everyone can be on good behavior 8 hours a week. So when you're just dating, you're hanging out a couple hours here and there.
Great point.
Then when you move in together, it's like there's no hiding. Like if someone has an episode, or like you see people for who they are,
or a drug problem.
Yeah, or like they're.
But no, this is an excellent point, right? Because when you're in that early stage, you're seeing them sporadically.
Yep.
They're putting on their best face and their best wardrobe and all of that stuff because it's like it's a special event, right?
Yeah, you're out in public.
You have to vet the person through other more standard modes. Like one thing that I think I've heard even Joe Rogan say this is like plan a week at like a 4-day getaway with the person. You're going to see a lot more come out than you would see in those one-off dates here and there, right? Like you have to have a good period of observation to get more data to know what you're really dealing with,
100%.
God, you sound just like a manager, dude. It's observational data. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
No, all right. So I want to talk about this. There's a good transition into one of our first songs we did together.
Right.
Which I was like, me and Mark had done a couple demos at this point, right? We had worked through some things and we were trying to figure out the style, figure out which direction to go. So we were just hanging out one day, and I don't remember what we were talking about. What were we talking about the day that the song came out?
Are you talking about Redheads?
Yeah.
we were cracking a joke. Like we were talking, we were just sitting here and BSing about the type of girls we liked, you know, like fetishes, so to speak. And then, you know, I brought up the fact that like I was into redheads, and then we say, like, yeah, we should do a song about that. Like, yeah. We started spitting back lines like, you know, a girl with like, you know, kind of trashy redhead girl, blah blah blah. And then we'd laugh and we'd say, oh, and then she does this, and then it's like before we knew it, we're just like writing this stuff down.
It like wrote itself.
It was stuff in 30 minutes. We had all the lyrics.
When that happens.
And we did it kind of as a spoof because we're like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if we did this? And sometimes like Tom talks about like sometimes songs just write themselves, or you get like a gift from the heavens that just like falls into your lap. It was so natural, it was so organic, and it was so funny that it just came together.
No, and we ended up like, it was funny because there wasn't a song about redhead girls like this. So we ended up on a bunch of lists and a bunch of websites, and it drove a lot of traffic to the song. So I think we're going to transition to the song now.
Yeah, let's hear it. I want to hear this shit.
We'll boot it up.
This is your first Marc Daniels country song?
This is my first single off the first country album I did with Tom.
And when was this released?
This was released 2016. Yeah.
Okay. So basically a decade ago.
Yeah. It's still probably my most popular song. It was kind of like first banger out the door.
And isn't that fascinating to like have that level of response right out of the gate?
I know. Like we talk about the whole like oversetting expectations right out the gate. Like, oh, this is easy. Like we just got like
we're just gonna write 20 more of these.
Tom, let's come back next year. Write the second album.
Let's listen to the song, and then I want to write one about blonde chicks next.
With tattoos.
Let's go.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Who's playing the guitar? That's Tom?
Mr. TC, yeah.
I thought it was Brad Paisley. This is like Big and Rich or something, right?
Let me tell you guys something.
I'm just a simple man and I do the best I can, but I got one specialty you might forget. You see, it don't take much to please me. In fact, it's rather easy. And I'm homecoming black, blonde, or brunette. Now it's cost me battle scars and got my ass kicked out of bars, but let's just say that I got no regrets. You think it might get old, but will I just lose all control? Cause when I see one walking by, I start to sweat. I like the redheads, those bright green eyes that knock me dead. The redheads, I just give up trying to find the redheads. The trouble boy, that's what they say. The redheads, I think I might catch on fire. Try everything.
Actually, that kind of reminded me of
enlisted therapy, but my friends still think I'm nuts to some degree. You see, I know you can't replace those red curls and a freckled face with a sassy kind of personality. Well, it's all true what they said, and sometimes I'm seeing red, but there's no other
just like
way
everything
I'd
fake about
rather
her.
be.
Dye her hair red.
Well, I guess they're not for everyone, but hell, that's my kind of fun, and that's okay, that just means more for me. I like the redheads, those big green eyes, they knock me dead. The redheads, I just keep on trying to find the redheads. The red trouble, bro, that's what they've said. The redheads, I think I might catch on fire.
Yeah, so at the end there,
There's bar sounds.
I was like, Tom, we should do this thing where like, I'm like at the bar and I'm like pointing out a chick and you're like, I don't know, I don't get it, dude. And it's like, it's exactly what he said. I was like, it's perfect.
No, so,
It's like your David Lee Roth moment.
No. So what's funny about this song is that it's influenced by a couple other things that you wouldn't realize. There's a lot of glam rock to this, a lot of like, because honestly, the riff and the way the song works is based on Eat the Rich. So it's a lot like Aerosmith, Eat the Rich, you know, because it was like, eat the rich, da, 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 da. It's kind of like that kind of thing to that. And at the end, when we're talking, it's kind of like the middle of Girls, Girls, Girls. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing with Motley Crue. So we got...
Well, there's like that Van Halen breakdown where he goes like, you're going to get some leg tonight for sure. Tell us how you do. Unchained, I guess.
Yeah. So we brought in some of those elements because, you know, Mark comes from rock music, and so do I originally. But I'm actually pretty impressed with it. It's been 10 years, and I don't have that much. There's little frequency stuff and things like that I might do a little different, but I mean, I think it sounds pretty good.
It's still the one of all, like, we have a great music video for it. Like, I get more comments on that than anything else. And because of the nature of uniqueness of it, there's not any other Redhead songs out there. So it's like we own this market, and no one can actually touch it because who else is going to come like, oh, I wrote a Redhead song too. It's like, dude, you're late to the party, man. I'm already here.
Well, there is something to be said for first mover, first to market advantage, which you have. And then also it's very niche, right? I mean, usually niche stuff either is unsuccessful because it's so niche, or it fills a void. This clearly filled a void that the market was just dying for.
The thing I like about it too is that like it's Redheads for me, but it might be, you know, foot fetish for someone. Everyone's got a thing, right? A thing that like they're. So when we actually wrote this song, it's like, well, even if you're not into Redheads, like you can understand like being into a type of girl.
Oh, I do.
Whatever it is. And so someone that might inspire other people to be like, oh yeah, like I have my own redhead and my redhead is brunette or whatever.
I also want to give a shout out to some people that we worked with on this. So I played most of the guitars, I think. Mark played the keys, sang. Dave Van Diggity from Diamond Lane played drums on it. And Eliza James played the fiddle on it.
Oh, good old
Remember Eliza?
Oh, yeah. She's great.
She's a party girl. Love her.
Well, look, this is the first time I ever heard it, and it's very well done, guys, so kudos.
Thank you.
It sounds quite nice sonically, so I guess it's a shout to TC. But I really do like the guitar playing, Tom. I've always wanted to like be able to play that country chicken picking type stuff. I really can't, but like that's impressive to me.
You know what's
That's
weird
cool.
though is that like I had to do some pretty good research because I hadn't played a lot of it before. You know what I mean? And I'd just pull up like Brad Paisley videos or Keith Urban videos and stuff like that and learn some of the licks and how they work. Because I'm the kind of person where I can't play like a solo that someone else plays. Like I can't sit down and play like a Slash solo or, you know.
I mean, you could if you really wanted
my
to.
ADD is so bad, dude, and my memory is so bad. It's better if I figure out how things work and then I just jam. Do you know what I mean?
You're getting concepts stored in your brain.
It's more about conceptually playing it. And yeah, I mean, I'd say I'm still proud of that. I remember like when one of our friends got married, Harry.
Yeah.
We played that in the bus. And all my rock friends and the guys that were there, they were like, wow, Tom, you did a good job. It sounds like all the shit I hate about these country songs. That's like what Kapler.
It sounds pretty authentic, you know?
Kapler
Pretty
said
authentic.
eventually,
For me, this is a mild constructive criticism, but you can completely disregard it because no one fucking cares.
Suck me, Nick.
No, listen. Like, I love when the riff comes in. Like, that got me interested right away. The first verse, I think, is well done. It's perfect. The chorus is a great chorus. So I'm not saying it's not a great chorus. But the, like, temporal change of it, which I know why you would do that. Like, you're trying to bring the energy up. I get that. But it went against my expectations. And sometimes that's good, right? But I felt like almost like it was like slightly like almost like a different song.
Maybe.
You know, just my reaction. Take it or leave it, doesn't matter. But overall,
I hate you, so it's fine.
yeah, you're already there. You're already there. You don't even need to listen. But dude, that was tight. So that's still your biggest jam to this day.
Yeah, it's the one that gets the most traction.
Are you doing live shows and stuff?
Not anymore these days. Like I don't like have a band right now, so it's like I kind of beg, borrow, and steal musicians for things. But it's hard when you have kids and you're married and a day job, unfortunately. So, but I play when I can. Like I'll come down here a lot, and sometimes like I'll get invited to play in the
You
Viper room
basically
with
go
Tom.
on a weekend warrior mission to Elite Recordings in Los
Well,
Angeles.
yeah, or like there'll be a lot of times there'll be super group events where Tom and friends, we get together and we play everyone's songs, and like we'll come in and we'll do stuff like that. We'll like play each other's songs, or like
yeah, I mean the amount of people that we know that have birthdays and shit or get married or whatever, we all play it.
How many people do you know who have birthdays?
Everyone, Nick. But I'm talking about like they have events for their birthday where the band jams, like Omar's birthday or Harry's birthday or something. We get together and do stuff like that.
Well, I'm going to have to listen to some more of your stuff, offline and get into it more. But I do want to talk a little bit about who are your influences country-wise? Like who are the top, I don't know, 3 or 5 people in that world?
It's interesting because it's kind of two worlds. Like I grew up on like 90s country. So like Garth Brooks, Tim McGraw, like Brooks and Dunn, like Little Texas, Lone Star. These are the guys I grew up with. And
who's number one?
Oh God, that's such a tough question.
I mean, just gun to your head. You have to pick.
I have to pick one country artist. Gun to my head.
Trace Adkins.
No, probably. Oh God, I'd probably say Brooks and Dunn.
Yeah, that song has a lot of Brooks and Dunn in it too, that we just heard. So
I was really over here praying you were going to say Garth Brooks, just because for that era he's the quintessential dude in my mind.
He is, but like Brooks and Dunn, like the way the guitar, it's kind of like that driving country where like they have those nice like singing guitar solos, and it has a lot of rock elements to it, which I kind of like.
Brooks and Dunn is like 2 dudes, right?
Yeah.
That's why
that's the Brooks and the Dunn.
Well, I'm just confirming.
Yeah.
And what are the odds that like 2 of the biggest artists, you got Garth Brooks and Brooks and Dunn? Is Garth Brooks his real name?
I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Is anyone's name real in music?
Actually, remember when Garth did his? I
was going to ask about that
transition.
The Gaines.
Chris Gaines.
That might actually be his name, though.
No, it's not. That's a made up thing.
That's a made up thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't remember which.
Yeah, and he had the album cover. He had like emo hair, dude.
Oh, it was awful. It was the worst album cover.
The music wasn't bad though. The music wasn't that bad. I wasn't like his style or whatever. But if he was going down like that Savage Garden road, do you know what I mean? It's kind of on point.
I do applaud him for taking a big risk. Yeah. Did he sell any records doing that?
No,
I don't know.
Not really.
He did a bunch of those talk shows during the day, like whatever Ellen or whatever was during the day. Oh shit! And,
speaking of talk shows, you just gave us like our first Maury Povich moment, dude. He is not the father.
He said, "Do the little dance."
I don't mean to make light of your
No, it's fun.
No, I need you to run around the room and celebrate. Have a chick scream.
I'm free.
So going back to the influence thing, so like '90s country was an influence, but obviously like. There's modern country now. You have to kind of make things accessible. So that was kind of like the root of when Tom and I started writing. But then like modern artists that we are like, we're trying to make a sound like that. I think are doing a really good job of that. Like Luke Combs, Luke Bryant is another person.
Bunch of Lukes.
Yeah. And then even there's like some kind of country artists now. They're doing kind of like a more crossover style, like country core, where like Mitchell Tenpenny is a new person who really influenced some of the later stuff. You might actually like him a lot. It's but country's like evolved so much. It's there was this whole like bro country thing, and Tom and I tried to like sidestep that when we were writing. We're like, we don't want to like get too Red Solo Cuppy kind of. I
mean, this song is a little broy.
It's a little broy, but it's very specific. It's not like. Keg cup, cool can, like dirt truck, dirt road, all that stuff. Like it's like, okay.
Yeah, we have some songs that are filthy that we've done.
Yeah,
I mean,
really?
Yeah, we do.
And we made some mistakes too. We pandered at times. Where like I think our second album, we're like, we did so well. Like, well, let's go give people this is what they want. This is what everyone's listening to. So
that's kind of a trap, right?
Yeah, it's a trap.
And we kind of
slump.
We kind of ended up with. I would say 2 really great songs on that one out of that. But we also rushed it, and everybody was in the midst of, lots of things back then.
And you have to let, I'm a firm believer, you have to let time happen, life happen to have stuff to write about.
Agreed.
Because if you I wrote that fresh off my divorce, so I was like, Tom, we're going to write a song like this. And we're like, Rise from the Ashes, like, all the emotions that came from that. And then, you're like, let's write another album. And you're like, did we said everything we already wanted to say? So what do we talk about now? Let's talk about K-Cups and dirt
also,
roads.
Mark, a thing about you is that with your job and stuff like that, you're also like very goal focused.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So you're like, I'm going to put this fucking thing on a timeline. It's going to come out at this time. Then we're going to promote it this way. Then we're going to do these things. You know what I mean?
Well, yearly release.
That's
yearly
a
release.
strength.
Yeah.
That's a strength because most artists don't have that sort of programmatic planning type ability.
Yeah,
The Chili Peppers released an album like every year for like a decade, didn't they?
Yeah. No, and that's the thing that's what's kept them alive and on the radio the whole time too. Is that kind of situation, you know, where they were just always
staying in your face,
and had news about them.
Well, it's like Coca-Cola, dude. They will spend like $1 billion a month on advertising just to put the billboard. It doesn't have to say shit other than Coca-Cola. You see the logo, you see the vibe, and it just stays in your mind. So then when you're thirsty, subliminally you're thinking Coca-Cola.
Exactly.
You just want to keep your product in people's like
that's what people
fucking
that's what
subconscious.
people don't realize. Like even with movies and shit like that, the amount of money. So a movie or a brand or whatever is basically ubiquitous to the culture, where you know that like Doctor Strange is a movie. It will be out May 5th. Like they spend like $80 million on advertising stuff like that, which is fucking crazy.
More than the production of the movie half
Sometimes,
the time.
yeah.
It's just-
Dude, marketing, branding, and like exposure is the key to getting any product to take hold.
Yeah.
You know,
Repetition.
you could have a great product, no one knows it happened, doesn't fucking matter.
I think it's a mistake a lot of artists make too. Is like when you go back to like that first album we talked about releasing, is we threw it out there and it's like you sit back and you're like, okay, world, bask in our greatness, and it's like
Crickets.
no one hears it. Like how do you especially now
It's like
with
that phrase, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around.
And especially now with how easy it is for everyone to distribute music, it's tens of thousands of songs released every day. How do you stand out? Like even if your stuff is good.
Well, I mean, it's you have to have an advertising budget now. You have to pay people to handle this stuff because that's just target marketing for demographics at that point. You know what I'm saying? So
That reminds me of another country-related topic.
Okay.
You guys might have to help me. What was that guy's name who did that Richmond and Richmond or whatever? It went viral like 2 years ago, and it was just a guy in an acoustic guitar just talking about politicians not giving a fuck about people.
Oh yeah, the red-haired guy in the river. Yeah.
What's his name?
I don't remember.
I figured you would know this.
I know you're talking about.
Tom, can you look it up?
But
I think it's Richmond, north of Richmond was like the name of the song or
north
something,
of
right?
Richmond or something like
now,
that.
what's interesting about this is it's a very sort of populist, take back the power from the government, little guys rising up kind of vibe, which a lot of people love, including me. Like, how can you not want the underdog to take some power back, right? But this guy kind of came out of nowhere and had a viral hit. Now, initially, people were saying, look at this. The music business isn't broken. A single guy with his acoustic, with a well-written song that speaks to people can come out of nowhere and take the zeitgeist by hold. That's a great narrative, right?
Right.
Then a few weeks go by, some research is done. It turns out that a bunch of like politically motivated organizations with funding had pumped a ton of money to promote that song, like basically some right-wing stuff and Republican stuff. And I don't know all the ins and outs. I mean, maybe some of the information I got is flawed too. But it went from this came out of nowhere because it's a great song and a great message to this was propped up by the industry conspiracy.
Well, no. And here's the thing, though, too, dude, is that we have to understand nothing now is not funded, put in people's face. The internet is a very deliberate place now where people have learned how to make it and manipulate
strategic.
content. It's strategic.
If you see something, someone meant for you to see it. Someone's
Exactly.
making sure you see it.
Exactly.
And also, do yourself a favor once in a while. Go to YouTube, delete history or make a new account or whatever and see what fucking comes up because it's all ABC, NBC,
like basically
Netflix shit. It's the same.
Get the personalization out so you see what's being put to the top of the
because they're
heap.
going to market to you and what you like and what stuff you look.
You
up
can
and
also
talk
just
about.
disable all those things too, right? You can have sort of like a organic search experience, but then it will be about who paid for the views.
Yeah.
No,
To a degree.
and that's what I'm saying. If you clear out YouTube or get a new account, and it's Jimmy Kimmel Live, and it's NBC, it's all the biggest
Basically the
companies,
big network
Disney
shit.
and Disney and Netflix and shit like that. That's the top stuff.
But
because it's being
musically
paid
for this song, do you know the song?
I've heard it before. But I remember it came and went so fast. It's like
it was just a couple weeks. It was
just-
like,
and I was like, whoop,
I remember it only because I had another artist named Justin, he looks exactly like the guy. and he puts out his own music, so people thought it was him.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So we kept getting hit up. Hey, will you come play at this and play at that? And they thought he was like this super conservative, like fucking dude. And it was not at all. He'd do these events, and he was getting gigs and shit because he looked so much like the other dude. It's pretty nuts.
That's funny. So what about like the original masters of country, the legends like the Hank Williams, Merle Haggard? Do you get into that, or are you more like 90s and beyond?
No, I think part of it is because like I like rock music, and I kind of grew up with two older brothers in the 80s that were listening to like Motley Crue and Aerosmith and, you know, Def Leppard and stuff like that. Like that whole...
you're a big Def Leppard guy. You
yeah,
love
I think just the production, like I love like the big production value you get in like a rock song. Where like traditional country, it was like acoustic guitar, maybe snare and a hi-hat. It's just like very basic
also
stuff.
Think about this though too, like one of the masters of rock, who was Mutt Lange, made the Shania records with basically the Def Leppard drum sounds and everything else like that.
It's this wall of sound.
It's a rock treatment of a country style.
And he became like a premier country producer at that point.
And that was 90s country.
Yeah, and that was the sound of it. And he did that in Faith Hill and a bunch of things like that back in the day.
It made country. Oh, sorry. I was going to say it made country like cool. You know, like because like I remember when we were growing up, it was like country was like twangy, and it was you didn't admit that you listened to country if you were young, unless you were, you know, like in the Midwest.
I remember being on my grandfather's Goldwing with him, and he's like, I listen to two types of music, country and Western, and he was just blasting on his Goldwing. Do you know what I mean? And,
dude, that's a beautiful image. But I'm surprised he had a Goldwing, man. That's like that's a foreign bike.
Yeah, you know what's funny? He was in like a crew that had BMW bikes and fucking Harleys, right? But my grandfather was one of those guys where he's like, I'm just so cool, I'm gonna go hang out with everybody with my foreign bike, and he just would rock the gold way around Florida. Yeah, but no, my grandfather was a cool guy.
Dude, I love this vision, Tom. Your grandpa, Florida, Goldwing. I listen to two types of music, country and Western.
Yeah, and I'm sitting in the sidecar with him. You know what I mean? Like it was.
Can we get any images of this?
I don't know.
That would be. We need to get a
put
picture.
I don't need that shit on the internet.
No, we don't need to put it up. I just for my own
for your own
pleasure,
masturbatory purposes. Anyway.
I'm like, oh my god, this image is perfect.
All right, so
okay,
let's.
That went south.
No, what we could do is I'm going to play a new song now that we just finished with Jonas and Daniel and everybody on it. And this will kind of like get us, you know, to kind of wrap here. But I want to put on this next song. Let's talk about Cougar Town a little bit more.
Yeah. So I think with Redheads, it felt like that was like, oh, this is our sound, you know, and we did really well with it. And we experimented with some other stuff in between. But I remember, you know, some years had passed, and that was 2016. And when I came back to Tom this time, we just...
But let's talk about what happened before that.
What?
The C word.
The C word?
Yeah, the C word.
Oh, God.
You forgot about all this.
Well, yeah, I didn't know you wanted to talk about that, but we can talk about it.
No,
so I got sick.
Book, so
I got sick a few years ago. I ended up getting cancer.
Oh, no.
Yeah, blood cancer. So I ended up having lymphoma. And that kind of is another like... You want to talk about like big life events that give you stuff to write about? Like that's another good example. So
and then you came up with Cougar Town.
Yeah, I like MILFs and older women. Well, I think the evolution of like you think of Redheads, and it's like young, kind of sleazy, a little fun, and then like, but I write songs for my age. Like as I'm getting older, like my tastes in women age with me. So I got sick, and I went through a bunch of treatment. It really knocked me down.
I mean, you were fucking out of it for a couple of years.
I was out of the game for a long time, and
it's not that rare of a type of cancer, but you thought like you were going to be the one that was taken by it though.
Yeah,
low percentage.
I'm still, I'm not out of the woods yet, but it's like things are stable at least, which is good. But it changes your perspective on, okay, well, what kind of music am I writing? Like, am I? You get married, you have kids, life happens, you get sick, your parents die. Like, there's all these things that life happens, and you're like, well, you can't really. It changes your like persona of like, I'm not singing about the same stuff anymore. So, Cougar Town though, we were like, okay, we had this formula that worked really well, and I wanted to kind of give something back to the fans, like something the fans of Cougar of Redheads, and the whole like, well, I'm still into women the same way I am, but I like them a little older now because my wife and I were getting a little.
And also with the music, we kind of got into Mitchell Tenpenny and a bunch of other like guys that were like joining up with like Under Oath and a bunch of other bands and doing like. So this is probably the heaviest song we've ever done.
It's like metal country.
It's pretty close.
Country core.
It's country core.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
That's a thing. Yeah.
Holy shit.
So Tom one time he messaged me. He sent me a song from Mitchell Tenpenny, and he goes, "We should do something like this." And it was a song called Demon or Ghost. And I remember listening to it. I'm like, dude, I go, Tom, let's do it. Like, this is exactly what we should be doing. And then I already had the concept of a song about Cougar Town in my head. And that was another one that just kind of wrote itself.
Okay, well, let's get in. We're going to play that, and then we'll come back and wrap after that. But this is Cougar Town. Check it out.
Like a wine, baby, age perfection. Older women got that bold connection, while all the young girls screaming, hey, look at me. A Gen Z's got no direction. I'm gonna share with you my condition. All of one of the divorcee midlife queens won't find me out till midnight, standing in lines. Beautiful deadlines, forget the club, I'm gonna hedge my bets. Be it Costco and Sundays, hit the weekend, yes. Now the older they get, the harder they seem, but it ain't creepy, not even sleazy, no. You might find it funny, but I'm living the dream. Let's make it easy, gonna take you down. Your minivan, book club with your brand new spray tan. Wonder how you always stay so sweet. Hang out with all the hotties, stretching with those Pilates. Lordy, but you're packing so much heat. Will you be SUV rolling, feeling so fly? Let my friend keep you warm in the night. All the Botox and wax, and yeah, that's what I like. Give me your number, your love, and take me back home tonight. How the older they get, the harder they seem, but it ain't creepy, not even sleazy, no. You might find it funny, but I'm living the dream. Let's make it easy, gonna take you down to Cougar Town. All you creepers be thirsting, chasing young girls online, but you listen to shit that is right in your side. Yeah, I'll be hitting the gym, going 5 days a week to catch a hot mama that's my kind of freak. Now the older they get, the harder they seem, but it ain't creepy, not even sleazy, no. You might find it funny, but I'm living the dream. Let's make it easy, gonna take you down to Cougar. Yeah, oh so easy, gonna take you down to Cougar Town.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Pretty intense.
So you could see the similarities between the two. It's like we kind of evolved that sound into something more like country core and hard, and I thought it turned out great. This is probably my new favorite song right now.
Do you have more songs with that style?
Not at the moment, but I think we're going to be doing more of this because I think this has also got really good reception, and it's been taken off. So I think over time, it might pass Redheads.
We got to give a shout out to the Elite team. involved a lot of people on this record. Jonas Wisner did a bunch of stuff for us. Daniel did a bunch of stuff for us. Jakubowicz. And J. Crow did some vocal production and things like that with you. So we were all kind of involved in this, and we had, a lot of friends show up and play guitars and banjos and like a whole bunch of shit. This is a project that we collectively all came together on. So it was a good experiment.
Family style,
to kind of get everybody together. Anyway.
Is this one out already, or is it coming out?
Yeah, this one's out. Yeah. And we spent more time on these songs than we've ever spent, and I'm really happy with the result. It's amazing time and resources, what you could get when you put the extra time into something.
Well, and here's the thing, the difference between a good recording and a bad recording is time and staff to get it together, the right personnel, the right person for the job. I mean, no one plays drums like Daniel and bass like Daniel.
Right.
He's fantastic. And then when I brought that up to you were like a little, Adam actually played keys on this too, right? Yeah. Adam Perry played keys on this.
Heavy hitters.
Great players. So,
well, it's interesting. I normally play keys on the tracks, but I'm a pretty good player, but I'm not Adam good. So it's
Adam fucking delivers. Yeah.
When I was a little hesitant, and then when Adam came in and played, I'm like, okay, Adam, you're playing on all my records.
You're like,
now.
I want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's fantastic. Yeah. All right. So, Mark, is there anything else you want to talk about today? We had 3 new songs I released this last year. Cougar Town is one of them, but there's also Good Old Days, which is kind of a throwback song I released. I was also really proud of that. Tom and I worked really hard. Very 90s on that. Yeah.
And then I released a new song in February called Us Against the World. So I am happily married now, and I've actually kind of come back from all this, the horrible stuff that happened. So that song is actually a tribute to me and my relationship with my wife and all the stuff I went through with cancer, and just kind of reminding people to, life comes hard, but it's everything that happens. It's you against the world. It's you and the partner, the person you're with. Don't let kids, don't let disease, don't let life knock you down. Your community, the people that are important to you, they're there to help you get through it. And I really hope people that resonates with people.
No, and what was funny, we were talking about it last night, when you're in a relationship, to have those, there's a lot of stuff in Us Against the World about places you guys went together.
Yes.
Things you did together, whether it's sharing a thing of fries or being over in Italy or, on a beach somewhere, those are the things and the memories and the things that are core that keep people together and keep relationships strong.
Exactly. That, because when things get bad, it's always easy to get mixed up in the bad, and you forget about the good, because life is full of good and bad, as we've talked a lot about today, right?
That's true.
For every moment where you think you're riding high, there's something's going to come and knock you down. You're going to be in the toilet, Tom,
I know all about it.
You've had your own
it's
version
like that song, that Frank Sinatra song, That's Life. He says you're riding high in June and shot down, or riding high in May and shot down in June, or something like that. It's a roller coaster, man. Yeah. But dude, you have an amazing story. I'm so happy you're getting healthy.
Yeah.
And you're with a better person now.
Yes,
and
much better.
You've been through it all, and
I have.
you've come out stronger, and that's a compelling story.
It makes for good music. So don't that's the other thing. Don't be discouraged when life is bad, because if you're out there and a musician or an artist, you can turn that into gold. You can turn that into you can express it in so many different ways. It makes for good art.
Inspiration.
All right. I think we're good here today. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. This was episode 18 of TC and the Wolf. We love you guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here and putting up with our bullshit.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.